I think, this is a concept that I really believe could be a big concept if you really get serious about this. I didn't go into it going, I want to be a millionaire. I just went out to the market and said, I want to do what I love doing every day and help a bunch of people. And I believe if you do it well, you'll earn a bunch of income. Does that make sense? I always say you chase being the best at what it is you do, and money will chase you all the way to the bank. If you chase being average at what it is you do, average money will chase you all the way to the bank. Everybody with me? Now, when I was a high school basketball coach, my last year, my salary was $60,000. And that made me one of the highest paid public coaches in Tennessee. And they gave me a few things, like they gave me a car to drive, and they gave me these perks. I didn't have to teach any classes. Like they made it very nice for me to be good at what I did because they wanted me to win championships, right? So even in that arena, if you work at being really good and even trying to be the best, you get compensated as much. That's as much as they could compensate me. They didn't have any more money to give me. You know what I'm saying? So then I walk in one day and I'm like, man, how do I make more money? And then the deal at 25 years old helped me to realize, oh, I can make more money doing this. But I still loved coaching. So how do I coach and do what I love doing and make more money? Now that takes us to this concept. Intentional congruence is, think of it like this. All parts of your life feed all parts of your life. Okay? There is a flow state and a rhythm to what you're doing. So how many of you get inspired when you're in inspirational places? Okay? All right. Now, I do too. So what I realized was I like being, here's what I've come to realize. I like being around cool people who are interested in personal growth. I like being in inspirational places. Okay? And I believe that breeds more inspiration, which is a cycle of creativity and flow state. How do I build my life like this to where everything is feeding everything? I'm a big fan of over the last 10 years, I've become a big fan of the aesthetics of real estate. Like I really like good, cool real estate that I think has a lot of potential because it inspires me. So basically this concept of intentional congruence is, okay, if I love inspirational things, how do I have a coaching business? This is my primary flow of income. And then how do I feed this primary flow with secondary flows? Now, okay? And how do I tie all these things together? So I make money with my primary hard skill of coaching. But then how do I do retreats with top people? How do I own the real estate that I do retreats at?
So you bought a cruise ship?
Not yet, but that's coming. How do I include my wife and even my daughter, my kid? How do I do it at a location close to home versus having to travel? Right? How do I build a greatness factory that generates income when I'm not there? How do I build a product suite that's making money when I'm not there? How do I not do one-to-one coaching, but do group coaching? Okay, this is intentional congruence. Okay? One of the big trends now in my industry is where coaches that get to a certain level are charging $20,000, $30,000 for you to come basically stay with them for 2 days. It'd be like me saying, okay, for me to work with you for 2 days, it's $20,000 or it's $30,000, and you come here to the lodge and we do that. If I put that out to the market, we would get people to pay it. But it actually goes against my thought pattern and who I am because I'm a group. I like coaching people in groups. I do not like coaching people one-to-one. Everybody see that? But the number one request I get is what? To coach people one-to-one. So I could say, oh, I'll coach you one-to-one, but it's this much money. It's $100,000. Whatever. If somebody pays it, then I'll just suck it up. But an intentionally congruent life is really where I'm doing what I love doing at a place I love doing it with people I love doing it with. I'm making a decent amount of money I feel good about. That's an intentionally congruent life. Everybody see that? Now, what if I told you, so I built Monster Producer, and from Monster Producer, we feed the retreats, and I include my wife. Tonight, my daughter will be here for a little bit. How do I have the location? How do I do group coaching? How do I have a greatness factory? How do I build products? All from this one life. I just don't want my business to create a lot of stress for me and anxiety for me. I want it to be congruent. Now, let me take it one step further. Next year, me and Tim Story are doing a retreat in Israel. Okay? And he's got a pastor background. And we're going to go to different parts of Israel. And he's going to break down biblical principle. And I'm going to apply business application. And we're going to take a trip to Israel together. Now, here's why I like that. Is now, there's a lot of people who want to go to Israel who have never been to Israel, number one. And I think they'll say, oh, if we could go to Israel and go to all these places and get coached, then we're in. So we're working on that. That is intentional congruence. Intentional congruence is let's go to a cool place. Let's do something we've never done. Let's make it cool, and let's take cool people with us. The cruise is intentional congruence. And you know why? I like cruising. So if I can go hang out with all those people for 3 or 4 days and have fun on a cruise ship to the Bahamas out of Miami. Miami's one of my favorite cities. Why wouldn't we do it? That's intentional congruence. Where there's no intentional congruence is where you're over here doing this and you hate doing it and it's miserable and it ain't profitable and it has nothing to do with really this whole life that you want to live. Okay? So what I've tried to do is build an intentionally congruent life. All parts of my life feed all parts of my life. Now, when I wanted to get in better shape, I didn't go to a gym and say, you know, I'll pay 30 or 40, 50 bucks a month. I hired Jorge full time to work me out every day. When we got to Knoxville the other night, it was, what time was it when we worked out?
We started around 9:30.
We started at 9:30 p.m. because I didn't get a workout in that day. And I told Jorge, when we get to Knoxville, I want to work out. Now, the only way to work out at 9:30, that hard, as hard as we went, is if your trainer is right there with you. Right or wrong? That's intentional congruence. It's where everything feeds everything. Everything, my workouts. Now, let me tell you another step. We have now opened up Monster Fitness. So I got Monster Kids. I got Living with the Monster. That's with Natalie. I got Monster Fitness, which means people are paying to come work out with me and Jorge in the mornings. We worked out this morning together. Okay, so they're coming. At the very end, I give them a little business lesson. We work out together. That's another way to generate money. Right or wrong? That's intentional congruence. When I go speak at my church for men, like my pastor really wants me doing a lot of stuff for men, so I speak at a lot of men's events, men's conferences, and I got a new book out called The Accountable Church, which is for churches about how they become dynamic churches, because the 10,000 churches are dying in our country per year. That's 200 a week. So I wrote this book for churches, which is a whole new arena I haven't even tapped into yet. Everybody see that? So now we're starting to do these one-day events here at the lodge for pastors, because pastors need coaches too. That's a lonely position. So that opens up a whole new market. And guess what I'm teaching those churches? How to run a dynamic organization, how to keep it dynamic, how to not lose people, how to keep people fired up and excited. So that's intentional congruence, because now I'm working my body, I'm working my mind, I'm working my heart, and I'm working my spirit. I'm tapping into all parts of my nature. Does that make sense? When my body is clicking like I want it to, my confidence is higher, my energy is level, my stamina is longer. Like I can push harder. That's why it's so important to have that intentionally congruent workout in there. Okay? So these are things that you need to be thinking about building a life. You're designing your life. Okay? Now, it didn't start like this 10 years ago. It started me speaking. Then I said, well, I can speak and coach. Then I said, well, I can speak, coach, and train. Then I said, I can speak, coach, train, and write books. Then I said, I could do this, 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 and this. Then I said, I don't like doing this. So now I'm just getting to the point where I'm kind of designing what I want to do and what I don't want to do. But you can't do that if you don't have what? If you don't have a primary hard skill, that there is demand for that skill, it's very hard to do any of these things. We just can't generate enough interest and enough money to be able to do what we want when we want. Isn't that the concept of freedom? Like your business buys you time, it buys you freedom. It can really buy you some things so you can do what you want to do, right? Tomorrow I'm going down to Miami. I don't have to do this event in Miami. I'm choosing to do the event in Miami because I like Miami. If they would have said it was in, I almost said Florence, Alabama. I'm just kidding. I've been to Florence. I've spoken in Florence before. But but because they said it's in Miami, I said, hey, why not? We'll go give it a shot. So my point is, that's an intentionally congruent life. The only piece I'm missing, the only piece I'm missing is taking that plane everywhere I go. That's one more piece of this equation. And for me to justify taking my plane everywhere I go versus flying commercial, I gotta make more money. I have to generate more money. Okay? So that's motivation for me. Okay? Now, close us out with this concept. Once you get to single digits, that's our first step. Then our next step will be, how do we get to double digits? And this really keeps me up at night. Once you build your company to where it is, no matter what the revenue is, how do you substantially blow that up? Most of us are going to find that you get to a certain level, and that's as far as you know how to get yourself to. Okay? I'm not teaching you how to be a double-digit millionaire because I'm not a double-digit millionaire. I don't know how to get there. I hadn't got there yet. But my buddy Brad Lee has. So at the end of this book, I'm going to finish this book with my friends who have jumped from single-digit millionaires to double-digit millionaires. And they're going to tell us what they think we need to do to grow our business. Now, I know what Brad Lee's going to tell us. You need more people. You need more people. You need to become more known. You need to do these certain things. It's like, hey, as money comes in, you need to spend that money and reinvest that money and grow in your business. You don't need to be afraid of losing it. Okay? So just think about structurally, I call it my baby star to big star plan. How to go from 5 million to 25 million. Boom, 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 boom. I got to do these 8 things. And it seems hard. It is hard because it's like, oh, we're not even moving on this one thing. Like me taking Chelsea and putting her in this one spot to help get on bigger stages is a move toward doing that 2 million a year in speaking. But it don't happen like this. It's like we move here, and then we do this, and then we got to move this, and then we got to tweak this, right? But you got to be making moves, man. At the end of the day, you got to be making moves. You can't just sit and wait on this to happen, okay? So I hope today has been good for you. I know working through this formula, I'm surely to goodness there's somewhere along the way that you picked up something that you can say, I can go to work right there on my business, okay? This is just my formula. I'm not saying it's the right formula. It's just the formula that I've used to get to where I am today. Now listen, I'm nowhere close to where I want to be, okay? I'm not where I want to be, but thank God I'm not where I used to be. Does that make sense? And that's how I feel about it, okay? I'm still pushing just like you are. I'm still making sales calls just like you do. I'm still working 18 hours a day like you do. Like I'm still grinding it, okay? So don't think, I go home in the middle of the day and take a nap and relax and stay gone for 10 days. Like, no, man, I'm pushing as hard as you're pushing, okay? I'm right in the boat pushing with you. Some of these things I've kind of figured out. Thank you. Some of these things I've kind of figured out. Some of these things I'm still figuring out. Okay? So just know that as I'm right there with you. Okay? Now, if you're here, there's 2 things I'm going to ask of you before you leave. One, you're welcome to stay tonight. I know many of you are staying tonight. I'd love for you to hang out with us. I think it's going to be a cool event. I think the energy tonight is going to be incredible. I think there's going to be some high-powered people here. They're going to be hungry and serious. I've got 10 great questions I'm going to ask Dustin Black, which I think are really good questions. And then we're going to, like I said, have some music. I got a little country music dude that's going to sing. And Dustin is supposedly bringing some special guests, some potential famous songwriters So we're gonna just let people have fun tonight, and if you're interested in staying, it's open to the public. You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to stay. If you're interested in, here's what Brad Lee taught us. Okay, this is your boy Brad Lee. Here's what he said. At the end of your talk, Coach Burt, here's what I want you to say. If you like what I said today, thank you. If you want more of what I said today, come see me. Isn't that good? If you want more of what you got today, then come see me, and I'll find the right plan for you. I'll find the right product for you. Third thing, if you know people that we need to know, there's referral cards on your sheet. All of y'all are influential people. All of you have friends. All of you know people. All of you are going places. So all I ask is one way you can help old Coach Burt, okay, is introduce me to new people. I want to know people everywhere. I want to know people in Christiana, Tennessee, and Jacksonville, Florida, and Mobile, Alabama, and what city are you in? Fort Payne, Alabama, okay, and what, right here? Oh. Bell Fountain, Ohio. I've never heard of Bell Fountain, but I want to know people there, okay? I want to know more people because that's the way we feed this machine. So on your referral cards, Logan, they got them on their desk. On your referral card, just write down the name of a few people. Put your name on there, by the way, because when I call them, I want to say, Dominique told me to call you, said you're real serious about getting better. Now, is that true? On a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you? Okay? So fill these out, and then as you leave today, then stop by and say hi to me, and just, I want to say thank you for being coachable today, okay? Been a good day for you. God bless you, okay? Thank you. Thank you.